Yo, what it is, what it is, what it is. Welcome back to the third intermission and what will be the final episode, at least for a full length episode of third intermission. This will be our season finale for 23-24. We'll have some more content coming in terms of interviews with players, media personalities, shorter episodes, shorter recordings, but not the full length until the fall. So we're gonna get into some last bit of topics here from the hockey world before we take a little bit of a break in between then for the show. It's your boy Avry here in the host chair once again, filling in for the king himself, Dave Barnett. And I got Troy and I got Marsha in the cut with me. Marsha, what's going on? How you doing?
Be out here. It's hot. I don't like it. Bring back hockey season. I am always the person that will say that I love fall over the summer. I love the heat of summer, but humidity is the killer. She can go away. We don't want her, but we're doing great. Enjoying the times, one day at a time, having a good vibe, seeing what's going on in the world of sports.
See, I can agree with you with the humidity, but I am always going to be a summer boy. I cannot stand winter when it comes to frostbite, mayhem on the roads, icy sidewalks. Nah, keep that.
Okay, here. I'll be honest with you. I will complain for everything. Too cold, complain. Too hot, complain. That's why the equinoxes are my friend. But I just the way that I see it, you can always put on more clothes. I can't peel off my skin,
At least in the summertime, I can go outside with my hands bare and uncover it. I don't worry about losing my toes, my finger. That's why I do like summer more
So
in the
true.
winter. And big man, Troy himself. Troy, what's going on? How you doing, sir?
Not too much. How are you? I will say, in relation to what Marsha was saying, I'm born in the winter, but much like you, Avery, give me the summer. I don't. I, I like winter only because that's when hockey plays. But other than that, not a fan of it. I don't like the cold. I don't like the shoveling. Now that I'm older, no.
Oh yeah.
Give me a heated driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to do none of
We all need some Connor McDavid heated driveways.
The shoveling. I agree, shoveling snow sucks as well. You're going out
Yeah.
there. It's even worse when you're shoveling. It's not as bad when it dips to say a -1 or a -2. But when you get stuck in like a polar vortex, you gotta shovel out to -20. Nah.
Mm-mm. Not
Listen,
at all.
My street is a wind tunnel, and there's a big old empty field in the back. So like when that breeze is blowing, it's blowing. It is
He's
like
crisp.
standing inside a meat locker that's been rigged to
Uh-uh.
produce colder than what it was designed to do.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then if you're caught in certain parts of Toronto too with the snowfall, TC buses can't go up and down some hills, right? So you're stuck. You better hope you got one of them jetpacks to fly around in, because that's the only way you get it.
Right? Yeah,
Edmonton.
I gotta say though, I'll never forget being in Toronto during NBA All-Star Weekend. Oh my gosh, that was Alberta cold. That was Alberta cold weather. Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
And that was the coldest it had been in a while. In a while. And we're like, wow, just our luck.
That really didn't help. Go ahead, Troy.
Go ahead, Martha. No, I was gonna say like I was working downtown when the NBA All Star Weekend hit, and it was so cold. We're like, I could walk outside and my mustache and nose hairs would instantly freeze. Like it wouldn't even get a chance to like start running with the drippy drip. Yeah, there's just pure stiff icicles in my nose, and it's like, oh, this sucks. This hurts so bad.
God.
Like that. Of course, like that didn't help reinforce that didn't help the stereotypes for basketball heads of Canada being cold. It didn't help the stereotypes whatsoever. Because of course, the event which all the NBA is gonna be there. It's the coldest winter in Toronto in some 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh. But, thank goodness we're past that now. Right now in July, we don't have to worry about that at all. But who may have to worry if the Leafs don't produce this season might be Brendan Shanahan. Because as we saw last week here, Toronto FC and the Argonauts president, Bill Manning, was let go from his roles as president of both clubs. Keith Pelly making moves, making decisions. I look at this now, and with Keith Pelly back and running things at MLSC, I wonder now, would the move to let go of Bill Manning from his roles with TFC and the Argonauts, if the Leafs don't produce and get something done substantially this season, could Shanny be next? I'll send a question to you first, Marsha.
100%. I don't see it any other way. He's like quaking in the boots right now. Something has to happen beyond winning a round. Like, I think if he's anything short of conference final, he's out. Um, and I only say that because Keith said it himself in one of the exit interviews. He's like, winning a round is not winning the Stanley Cup. And he was very, very clear about the disappointment of not being where they need to be over so many years. Um, and I think Keith is a type of person that will like give him chance, give him opportunity to fix up, which is why he didn't do that immediately upon arrival. He seems to be like, I'm gonna observe for a little bit, I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. Let's see how we make our moves in the off season, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that he cleared out Bill Manning, I'm not surprised. And if you think about timelines, Shanny and Manning started in their respective roles at a similar time. Granted, TFC has won an MLS Cup, but that was 2017, and they haven't really done a lot since. They've been runners up in, I think it was 2016 and 2019. Um, but other than that, it's kind of been this weird wave of everything, of like stretch of really good, stretch of absolutely abysmal. No one wants to watch you anymore. um, but Chenny doesn't really have the same to fall back on. So I think the fact that Manning is gone is like he's even more like on the hot seat than ever. So it'll be very interesting to see how this season plays out and how reserved one might be, um, how much of himself he's going to put out there. We know that with Kyle and Shani, a lot of their battles were about like power and jurisdiction and decision making. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how Tree like is in regards to that, um, in terms of altering the team. So I'm very curious at how transactionally this season will go for the Leafs.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna be very curious in that aspect because again, how many more lives does Shanahan really have if you're not winning playoff rounds? Troy, what are your thoughts on the matter?
I think it won't take a full season, because as we've all seen and we all know, the Shannon plan has already run its course. Like, we need a different direction to go in, and like you guys said, like winning one round isn't the Stanley Cup. Like, yes, it's exciting to get over that hurdle, but when you don't do anything afterwards, what was the point? You know, I think it's time that a breath of fresh air went through the Maple Leaf side of the organization. I think we'll have a better idea as with, as with most teams. You'll find out where everybody more or less sits from Christmas. So like if we're not performing at expectations or better than what the expectations are that are placed on them from management and not the media and the fans, then yes, significant changes should be made. Well, and of course, they're going to look at things and be like, okay, well, what can we do to improve the roster? Because who's really trying to fire your president at Christmas time? They usually give them the whole season, but I mean, if things start to really unravel, then yeah, we'll see changes like this. But either way, um, I think Shanahan's on a very short leash. I mean, this is good. Even though every year he's been here has been a prove it year. I think none more so than this upcoming one is for sure a prove it season for everybody, top to bottom. And if you can't provide the results that are required, then sorry, you're gonna have to find another logo to wear.
Yeah, no, and I agree with Marsha in the aspect that this is probably going to be a year in which you're gonna have to, you at minimum you have to make a conference final. And I know, yes, the Eastern Conference is going to be a dogfight. You're going to have to deal with still teams like Tampa, Florida, Carolina, the Rangers, Boston. It's not going to be easy, but it's no longer acceptable, and it shouldn't be acceptable for at least management, fans, and players to win a round or two and crash out and say, okay, well, I made progress. After a while, well, it's already been a while, but now you're just spinning your wheels after a while. If you're not getting to a conference final or a cup final, in the same way Edmonton finally broke on through to make it to a cup final, then what are we doing here? And if you can't do it, like you said, Troy, they're going to find somebody else who can do it.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
said it.
Because this is a results-driven league, like all sports league are. It's a results-driven league. If you like, it's going to take forever to find the right combination of player and personnel to get it done. I mean, leaving the Raptors, they're going through it right now too. They didn't want to admit rebuild, but here we are. And also, at some point, like you guys said, they're going to have to decide what they're doing, whether they're your buyers, sellers, whether somebody's staying, somebody's going. But if the results aren't there, then people got to go.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, and yeah, no,
And
I
that, and
think
that means and that means forcing Mitch Marner to submit a list. Like I don't care. Like stop fucking coddling this damn kid. Tell him, listen. I know that we were dumb to give you the no movement clause, but like, listen, don't Matt Sundin here. Like, give me that list. So then that way, if something comes up, we can get something going. Don't fucking handcuff me.
yeah, no, the listing with Martin, that this has to happen, and I I would be very surprised if much Mitch Marner is back in at least Jersey come this fall. I don't know where it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be a Vegas, a Utah. I really don't know. But all I know is that I just don't see a future where Marner is back in Toronto come October.
It's dollar
Send him to the
signs.
London Silly Nannies. Send him to the London Silly Nannies. I don't give a damn. Like he's the most viable piece to go. Send him going. Back your ship.
Yeah, it has to be a very like if anything, this next contract is bridge. Like if he is staying, it's not going to be a long term thing until we're able to see those postseason results, until we're able to see longevity. And like the highs are great, but the lows are so low that it's like, what are we doing here? What happened to get us in this funk that we can't get out of? And if we put all the money on the table now, it's like, okay, you're gonna make yourself stuck again. It's not gonna look good on you as management, but then even as the player, what is the compromise that's happening? Because I will always be the first person to say like fight for your worth, fight for your value because you know what you're capable of producing and you potentially have produced it in the past. But We have to remember that unfortunately, this is also a business.
Hmm. No, that is very true, Marsha. Like Troy said, this is a business based on results, based on what you've been able to do for me lately. And again, this team has won one playoff series since 2004, where they got past Tampa Bay. Since then, they've fallen back and regressed to being out in the first round. So, if this year isn't the year in which Toronto can win 2 rounds, make it to the final four, then I think Brendan Shanahan's tenure is going to come to an end. You're going to be on the search for a new president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
So,
wonder what name would be available that would want to come here in the event Shanahan gets this place. Would there be anybody that we would want that's not named anybody from the Chicago Blackhawks organization that the league just recently let back in?
Yeah.
no, brother. Like, in terms of a president, that's a really, really good question, Troy. And off the top of my head, I'm not sure of who fits that role or who would fit that role. I think it's a thing I'm going to think about a little bit more and probably look at deeper when we get back from the break here. But I bet you there is definitely a list of names at the end that the Leafs are or Keith Pelly has considered if he has to eventually part ways with Brendan Shanahan because I think you have to be thinking about who you want to give the keys to the castle to next, Paul Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
What's Alex Anthopoulos doing these days? He's still the Atlanta Braves?
Not anymore. I know he's no longer with the Braves anymore. But hey, you know what? That's the thing where you know what? Hockey is so resistant to giving the presidential roles to non-hockey names, and I just don't get that. I really find it silly because other sports done before, where they bring in a president or bring in that top leader who isn't associated to hockey. And my mentality is with that is that if you bring in somebody who knows how to win in a pro sport or knows how to have success in a pro sports level, shouldn't that translate to no matter what the team sport is, no matter if it's hockey, basketball, football, baseball?
My answer to that: where did you get Gary Bettman from? Hmm? Hmm? The
True.
National Basketball Association? Hmm?
True.
So why is it this we gotta keep the doors closed and the gates locked and it makes no sense. Again, we're an organization that keeps yelling of we're trying to grow the game, but we're not gonna open the doors. We're gonna keep them locked with boards and nails.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it like how they're doing the presidency of the United States, where it's like people are like, we want change, but you still keep going for the same two dummies. Like
you, you keep
there
you
are
keep
plenty of
bringing people who are over the age of 70.
Oh yay.
like so many options, and you want to pick the same two idiots. Like that saying is true. Like those who don't learn from history are destined to repeat it. I mean, they didn't learn with Bush because they did him twice. They voted him in twice. They're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna vote Trump in because he got fucking shot in the ear. But anyway,
The
back to
Reaganification
hockey.
of Donald Trump has just occurred. Mark my words.
Oh goodness. And to correct
but
myself, yes, Anthopoulos is still with the Braves, so he's not available. But the idea, either way, the idea of bringing in somebody who knows how to win, no matter what sports. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. We see it in other sports, but hockey, you got to be a good hockey man. You got to have played 14 years in the league. But it's like, no, you don't, because
No.
look at the Lightning. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Julian Breezewall and John Cooper did not play pro hockey.
Oh dear.
Like
like
they were,
being an NHL head coach is John Cooper's part-time job. The man is a full-time lawyer. He doesn't give two rats ass. like, and look how
Um,
successful he's been. Like
it's
even CFL players, that's not even their full-time job either. Lacrosse players, that's not their full-time job.
yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah, John Cooper was a All American lacrosse player. Yeah, like that was his game.
yeah. Because I mean, when you think about it, really and truly, all it takes is a genuine understanding of the game. You can't even say rules because the people that are supposed to know the rules and do the rules don't even know the rules. So I don't think a president should be obligated to know the rule book back and front. You can read it when you need to because you're not the on ice official.
Oh,
And I think you also just need a passion for the sport and a passion for entertaining people within a city that love the sport to death
yeah.
and just a want to grow it within the place that you are. And then you need your business mindset. But other than that, as a president, your hands are not it like you're not with them every day during practice
No.
setting the standards, et cetera, et cetera. Like, why does it or why is it being made to seem like it's a rocket science type of I need 5 degrees and a NASA certification to be able to be the president of a hockey team?
It's hockey. Hockey likes to make a lot of these roles more important than they are. I mean, yes, they're important, but we're not dealing with national security. You're not NASA. You're not you're not CSIS. You're not the government. It's hockey. We're in
Hmm.
the entertainment business. We're pro sports. Let's get over ourselves a little bit here.
Yup. Oh
No,
wow.
it is. It is silly, but yeah. Again, I do like the idea of going in and getting somebody from a different sport who knows how to win because the open the old boys club up to some radical hires, new voices because
Mm.
we can't keep recycling the same 50 people for every role until the sun burns out, can we?
No, absolutely not. Like sometimes you just need a new mentality. You just need fresh blood. Like someone who's willing to challenge the status quo.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You are totally correct in that, Martian. Both you and Troy are different are correct in how you both approach it and both see this. And we'll shift from the Leafs presidency to some of the best moments of the 23-24 season as we wrap up this season here. And I gotta ask the both of you. I know the Leafs crashed out again in the first round. Another loss to Boston, but I will ask both of you, what were your favorite moments from this season? It could be league wide, it could be Leafs century. Like, what were your favorite moments to see in this NHL season here in your mind, or even the hockey season at large?
I think we should let Jason answer this one. He just jumped in.
What was that, Troy?
Let Jason answer this one first. He just jumped in.
Oh no, did he?
Unless he needs
Okay,
time to
one
think
thing
about it.
on. Oh, there he is. There he is. There's Jason.
Yo, yo,
Jason, what's
yo,
going
what's
on,
good,
sir?
man? Yeah, what's up, everybody? Yo, sorry I chipped in late, man. I was just with the kids. I'm trying to plan their birthday party and stuff. Hope you guys are well.
No, we're doing good, sir. How are you doing? We're doing well. We're doing well. I see you. And those of you who can't, I know we're audience, we can't see Jason right now. Jason look like you put in some hard work. Manually sweating. The hair's out.
This guy, yo, stop this, man. I'm supposed to get a braid up tomorrow still, so I'm gonna wash my hair in the morning. But yeah, I'm just here. I'm happy to talk with you guys. So, what was the question you posed, Avery?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Jason. I know the Leafs crashed out again in the first round, but I just wanted to ask, what was your favorite moment in the hockey season? It could be Leafs centric, it could be hockey at large, it could be NHL. Like, what moment did you enjoy the most this year in hockey?
I think I kind of enjoyed, like, as a Leaf fan, like I enjoyed seeing like a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup final. There wasn't like one single moment for me like that made me say, all right, like there was some nice goals scored. There was some good overtime winning goals by Nylander and other Maple Leafs and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? For me to see like Canada's team finally like like a good version of Canada's team. Montreal and the COVID season doesn't count for me in my record books. Maybe on paper, but yeah, just seeing Edmonton in the Cup final was the biggest moment for me still in the NHL this year. I'm not even going to lie. I thought that was excellent, to see McDavid being a Toronto boy, try and bring the cup back to Canada in its rightful place. You know what I'm saying? He tried his best, but he came up short. But yeah, just to see Edmonton in the Cup finals for me was it. Real shit.
Hey man, hey, I appreciate the answer because hey, it was fun. It was fun being around it. It was fun seeing it live. Hey man, if they could have finished that off, it would have been quite the story to come back from 0-3 down to win your first cup. Man, that would have been. I think I'm still half deaf from what happened during Game 6 because that building was that sound was berserk. That sound was absurd during Game 6.
Brother, you're talking about when Edmonton told Florida to go in the top drawer for the belt? That game?
No, that was the game they tied the series up. Game 4. Oh no, Game 4. Game 4 was madhouse as well too. Game 4 was ridiculous too. The 8-1 game because it was just. Uh, I watched a lot of Cup final games, but you rarely get a Cup final game which is just a pure beating like that. You don't get the go give me a belt game in the Cup final. Almost every Cup final game is very competitive. You don't get 8-1 games in a Cup final. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't feel
Yeah.
real, bro. Like even you just saying that now, I'm like, wait, oh my gosh, that did happen. Holy crap. Like this is the cup final. This is not like November in the season.
Like
Yeah. Real thing, like yo, like that was like my you go for the belt and at the top drawer come here to bust your backside.
yo, that
Go pick your own switch.
I that was team back against their wall. That was when when the team doesn't want to be embarrassed in a do or die situation. That was probably one of the more defining. We ain't going down with some punk games in hockey history. That's what that was.
And the vibe in the building was nice too, to see Sarah Nurse and you know what I mean, and Daddy Nurse and all of them like they're like celebrating and thing like even Darnell Nurse scored that game. Like
Yeah.
that was big, bro. The building was insane. It was a good vibe still, that entire series. Real thing.
Yes, and I do want to say for those of you who were traveling back and forth, fans, media, I only covered the games in Edmonton, and I was exhausted because again, the entire hockey world was there, and hockey people, hockey media, as we can see through social media and everything, they love partying, they love going out every night. Yo, I cannot go out every single night. I can't do a night every night of a dinner of hanging out of and getting work in. It's like nah, I don't know how some people went hard for all 7 games. I don't know how.
Your social battery has limits, my friend. You knew yours. That's okay.
Like after Game 4, I went out. I had dinner with Sullivan Valji from TSN and Mike Rupp and Kevin Weeks, and then I saw there's some other people who had another spot down there. I looked at my clock leaving Joey's. It's like nah. It was 12. It was like 12:30. It's like nah, I'm not gonna know. It's like nah. I'm
And then some
tapping
of those
out.
people have to travel the next day.
Right?
What?
It's like no. It's like I was putting in the ankle lock by Kurt Angles. I'm tapping out. No, I'm done. I'm done. I was seeing Instagram pages the next day. Other media people are there at the Pint in Edmonton here, still going. It's like, yo, you were just on air, and it's 2 a.m. now, and you're flying back to Florida. Like how? I don't get it. I could not do it. Oh, but other moments on league. Troy, what was your favorite moment, Mr. Troy? What was yours?
My favorite moment was getting to work All-Star Weekend and getting my face in a can. I know Marsha's got her face in a can too. Um, I think probably the one that really stands out is Quentin Byfield when he scored that fucking unreal goal. I think that was in the playoffs, right? Where he fucking left the 2 defenders just kind of standing there and deked out the goalie. Like that was pretty impressive. Like I really like that. I like the fact that the Oilers made it to the Cup final and they got it to 7 games. So that way, at least it had Florida on the rope. So that way, it kept them quiet long enough. Um, what else did I like throughout the season? Um, the Arizona franchise finally folded. I mean, I don't mean that in such a negative way in terms of how I've always been bashing Arizona throughout the last couple of years, but it's nice to see that fucking Bettman finally let them die. Because I mean, how much longer was he willing to let them sit in the desert with no serious ownership, with no real arena? You know, I won't even say nothing about the fans because the fans are fans. You can't replace them. And I know Arizona's had, they've got an unwavering fan base. The players that were there, they put roots down in the community and such like that. But like just the way that team was built and the way that it struggled for so long, it's like one of those things that like it just needed to be put down, and it was like it's about time that shit happened. Because I don't know how many more times during the course of an NHL season are we going to hear about Arizona dominating the news line when there are other things happening. Another thing that I really did like was the emergence of Joseph Wall. I mean, for the longest time, he was one of the unknown commodities in terms of the goaltending that we've had coming through the pipeline. It's nice to see that there actually is a viable option going forward. It still grinds my gear that the year Jeremy Swayman was drafted, we took Ian Scott, who was nowhere to be found, and Swayman is thriving in Boston, and the fact that Boston has now screwed us in terms of, or we got screwed by Boston in terms of goalie selection, you know, it's disappointing to watch. But again, like I said, I'm just happy to see the emergence of Joseph Wall. So at least it gives us, a viable option for the next couple of years until somebody else steps in and is like, hey, my time now. What about you, Avery? What did you like aside
I'm
from losing
open.
your voice at the
I would say the Cup final, seeing this team emerge and get over the hump, that to me was amazing. Because again, we know the talk on is this team gonna stay together or what's the next step. The fact that they were able to take that next hump and show that yes, they can be a true Western contender, I thought was absolutely amazing. Also, I want to say another moment that was great. The fact that we once again were able to take in the Carnegie Summit and meet a lot of good people as a podcast, make some more content. I thought that was amazing for this show to do this year, and I hope it keeps happening. I hope that we keep doing stuff with the Carnegie Summit, and I think it's great that we've been able to connect with the people there, Brian McBride and everybody else at the summit there. That was amazing. That was so much fun to do during All-Star weekend. And Marsha, what about you? What are your favorite moments of this season here?
Um, it's kind of hard to think about. Off the top of my head, um, love of my life, William Nylander contract extension. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ. Love that man. Stay here forever, please. But apart from that, similar sentiments as you, Avery, like Carnegie, Winterfest, like all those opportunities to just be around good, like-minded people who want to have fun and do cool things is so important, and like looking forward to those opportunities to be back again next year and like continue fostering those relationships and networking and doing our own good work to grow the game and have fun while doing it is so important. um and as much as I like playoffs wise, as much as I kind of tuned out when the Leafs did the thing again, I think it was nice when I caught a game every other game and like didn't really have skin in it and like wasn't going to have a heart attack every other 10 minutes. So it was nice to just watch and enjoy. Of course, there are other teams that I like and have stake in, but I don't think I will put as much pressure on myself as I do with the Leafs. But it was nice to see how far Dallas got. It was nice to see that Edmonton kept it in for Canada. I also think it was hilarious how every Canadian fan Absolutely hated the Boston Pizza commercial. We like bonded over that. And like everyone had similar sentiments, but in the end it was all kind of like, yeah, this was a cool thing and they almost did it. And like good for them for getting where they got because Florida's a menace. But other than that, I think another like fun little tidbit. I really loved Paul Maurice's speech at the end. Um, when they won, I brought some tears to my eyes when he was talking about like his parents and his family name being up there with some of him and his father's heroes. So there were cool little things, and I'm excited for more.
Yeah, no, I could not agree more with that. And yeah, Paul Maurice is a very, win or lose, Paul Maurice is a very entertaining head coach, not from come from a different cloth, not the norm, not your typical head coach in terms of what he's gonna say to you, what he's gonna give, and I appreciated that. And yes, Marsha, the Boston Pizza, we all pull the whole pulling for one Canadian team. I just thought that ad was such an odd thing because no, Canadian fans don't all want just the one team to succeed. And then there was that game like in the Edmonton Vancouver series, which had the random fans in the stands and Sportsnet acting as if that wasn't one giant commercial. I just
Yeah.
thought was so bizarre.
Oh, wild. Absolutely wild.
Like,
And then when they got like the people like oh the green suit people and like the half jersey people, but then like the Vancouver fans were like those aren't our green suit guys, those are randoms, and like all of that stuff. I'm like that's just like very weird flex. What are we doing?
yeah, I didn't understand what that was, and if you're BPs, how do you not realize that this campaign is not going well? I mean, yes, you're on TV getting attention, but your consumers are openly hating it.
Yeah, it's like pull it immediately. Why did we let it go on for as long as we did?
It was it was just super duper weird. So anyway, so we'll wrap things up here for 24-25. We'll do the predictions for next year. What we want to see happen, what we think is gonna happen. I'll start with you, Jason. Do you have any predictions for next year?
Yeah, Mitch Marner gets traded before the deadline, and we actually get like a top four defenseman and another forward, and we get rid of Mitch Marner once and for all, and he's
Oh,
gone. And after the Leafs get rid of Mitch Marner, what ends up happening is that the Leafs end up winning multiple rounds in the playoffs because they don't have Mitch Marner on the ice. And Austin Matthews gets to hold the cup first after getting the Conn Smythe Trophy, and then he's gonna pass it to John Tavares. And then after John Tavares holds the cup, he's gonna pass it to William Nylander. And then after William Nylander holds the cup, he's gonna pass it to Morgan Riley. And Toronto is gonna be in pandemonium for weeks upon weeks. And
Tell them.
hi.
you notice how immediately before that, the first thing Jason said was trade. This has been the roast of Mitch Marner this episode. Oh my gosh, this has been the Mitch Marner roast.
No, he has to go. He honestly has to go because he doesn't know how to play playoff hockey, because he's too scared to play playoff hockey, because he'd rather score 197 points in the regular season and not care about playoff hockey.
Wow, yo, this man, yo, tells you really feel
Fire.
tells you really feel Jason, yo.
We'll be here for hours. I'm just trying to get in what I can get in right now.
Oh my gosh, Marsha, what about you? What are your predictions for next year?
John Tavares gives the captaincy to Austin Matthews.
Okay,
And yeah,
I like that.
I think so. Because I think we would have been there already. Some things happened. He wasn't ready. And then I think John is in a position where he will still have his leadership. I think it'll just be a little flip. He'll become an alternate. And his leadership is still super valued. But if the team is going to go in the direction of new, young, fresh, gotta have my voice heard to a deeper extent. I think it's time that we make the switch, especially as we're seeing ourselves come to a point where John's coming up for contract renewal and he's probably looking to take a little bit of a step back, especially with 3 kids and a wife and growing family, all of the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super sad that it's not Morgan Riley, as much as I would love for it to be Morgan Riley. But I think it's going to go to Austin next, and that's going to happen either next season or the season after.
Yeah, no, that no, that I think Austin Matthews is definitely a good choice to be the next captain. What about you, Troy? What were your predictions?
Carey Price will finally announce his retirement.
Mm.
Mitch Marner will be traded. The Florida Panthers will not repeat as Stanley Cup champions.
Mm-mm.
The Buffalo Sabres will make the playoffs.
Ooh.
Ottawa will still be trash.
Agreed.
Knew that was coming.
Utah will. I think they'll
Make the
they'll
playoffs?
struggle.
Let's say it.
They'll struggle, but not no.
No?
No, they're gonna struggle. They're gonna have first year struggles like Seattle did. They're because that team was more or less already put together. They can't really build it Vegas style. So I think they're gonna have to get acclimated to playing in where are they going? Western Conference.
They're the same conference. They're still in Central. They just replaced Arizona's spot in the Central.
And they picked
Yeah.
up
So
Sergachev from Tampa, bro.
yeah, so it's like give or take a few changes here and there, but it's more or less the same roster. So I think they'll challenge for a playoff spot. They might even get into the wild card, but they will. I think Utah will do better than Ottawa.
Okay.
McDavid, I think because this went to a 7-game series, and that obviously shortens your rest period and whatever you need to do before training camp opens. I think McDavid starts the season slow again, but I think he's gonna absolutely crush it by like Remembrance Day. It's gonna be a 1-horse race, basically from like the middle of November to the end of the season. I think Landeskog will finally play a full season. I think we see the first coach get fired by the end of November. I think this is Fleury. He said this was his last year, right? So that's already a given. So
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
I think we see a couple more flashes in the pans in terms of like prospects that were picked high and goalies that were highly touted. I think we see some of those, but then that doesn't last long. I think the Stanley Cup stays in the East. I think if it's not the Leafs, it's going to be Carolina or the New York Rangers. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah, the Rangers. I think the Rangers have a really good shot at getting to a cup final next year. I agree with the Rangers one in terms of the Rangers getting to the conference final. I mean, cup final with it. Win it though, I don't know, but I think the Rangers are going to come out of the Eastern Conference next year. I think that team is going to be better than they were last year. So, a lot of predictions from Troy. So I'll give mine here. I'll give mine. So I will start off. First of all, I'm going to say either one of Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, or Chris Letang says that next year is going to be their final year. I think one of those three guys says that next year is their last year in the league. I think you're going to start to see the Penguins, even though the Penguins want to try and push, you can tell that their window is almost fully closed. So I think one of those three guys says that their last hurrah is going to be this season. I think more likely Letang than Crosby or Malkin. So that's my first one. I'm also going to say I'm going to say we get news. We get news on further expansion. I think we get news on 2 expansion teams with the goal of having a 36 team NHL. So my predictions are going to be I'm going to say we hear formally the announcement of Atlanta and Houston coming into the NHL in time for probably 2028ish. That's what I'm going to say for that one. And I am going to also say, call the Rocket Richard winner next year, Leon Draisaitl. He comes back, he gets time to rest up. He rests up maybe a little bit slow like Connor McDavid because we know he's a little banged up as well too. Leon's banged up as well too. But I think Rocket Richard, it's Leon Draisaitl with 61 goals next year.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's possible though, because they added Jeff Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible, but I don't know. Matthews, I think, might actually hit 70. So I don't know. We'll come back and visit that one, Avery. But that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely see that between him and Austin Matthews. So, anyways, with that being said, when it comes to the full length shows, that is all for 2023, 2024. I want to thank everybody who tapped in, all of our guests, listeners, the crew here. You know, myself, Troy, Sebastian, Marsha, Jason, Big Man Dave, Reese, Darren, all the people who've come on, been on the show. It's been a blast doing this. It's been a blast for ourselves being unapologetically black doing this show. So much big help from producer Colin helping us make this show sound good, look good, running the social media stuff. We're going to come back in the fall. You mentioned off the top. We're going to have some special interviews, shorter stuff, with guests in the summertime, talking hockey. And then in the fall, we're going to come back with some more content, some new things, some fun projects we're trying to work on. So, hey, stay tuned. The hustle never stops. Third intermission. We are not going anywhere. We're going to find more of us in the fall. So stay stick. Watch our socials. Watch your socials. We're hanging around for the long term, baby. Anyways, that's it. That's all.
Drink your water.
Yeah, you have to drink water. Outside is hot.
Yes.
But
Drink water, man. Water.
Sunscreen is important as well. Can't get nobody.
Yes.
No skin cancer.
I don't want to hear none of this. I'm black. I don't need sunscreen. You can get skin cancer too. Put that
That's
damn
true.
sunscreen on your face.
That's true. Martian art, no, y'all aren't wrong. Y'all are not wrong. Until then, thank you once again for allowing us with grace of space in between your head tops. Drink your water. We out. Deuces.
Drink water, mind your business.
Yo, Troy.